For being with us today. I'd like to introduce my audience to you. I have three ladies here who are going to listen and be my audience. I'm going to make a transfer right now to the camera person, and I'm going to continue talking. Today my audience consists of three ladies ranging in ages from 40s, 50s, and 60s, and all are above average intelligence, all are average incomes, all are good Christian ladies, and participate in all church activities. And the reason they're here today is their interest in the funeral service industry. And cremation is what we're going to talk about today. And cremation is a solution to the ruins of family finances upon occurring deaths. I'm here also to tell you about funeral expenses, that cremation is an excellent alternative to funeral services. In response to this information, you'll be able to look at all the data, and I think you'll come to the same conclusion. God values human creativity and expresses truthful and righteous principles. The funeral industry should follow these guidelines and these values, as in 1 Corinthians, Ephesians, and Colossians. Cremation being the least expensive and respectable way of having a funeral service. Most of all of us have lost a loved one at one time or another, and most likely ended up in debt to either the funeral home or a lien on your home or something. After 25 years in experience in the profession and feeling a God-given need to tell everyone that I can about this information is one reason I got out of the profession. Cremation, like I say, being the least expensive and most respectable way of a funeral service, and manage to keep your expenses to a level which your loved one would want, and it is not biblically wrong. The funeral profession is a business, and it's in a business to make a profit. The National Funeral Directors Association is constantly on guard for abusers. This is like anything else, they cannot catch them all. And there are profits being made by these offenders, and I'm going to show you so you'll be able to save. You'll probably be stunned by some of the numbers you're about to receive. So please do not feel that used or abused because you didn't have this information before now. Because a lot of people feel so guilty that they spent the money. As I tell you this first is 10 facts of funeral service industry that was done by an investigation by Fox News by Mr. James Sheridan. He says shopping around saves you thousands of dollars. You must get clear pricing up front all the time, not bundled. Funeral directors are not clergy. Some required services, as we know, are not required. A cheap casket may be an alternative. It's okay to buy a casket or urn elsewhere. A green or environmentally safe funeral is okay. A do-it-yourself tribute cuts thousands of dollars off the cost. A volunteer group can negotiate big savings with funeral homes. These are just a few of the ways to cut funeral costs, but one of them that you notice I mentioned twice is cremation. And I see some heads shaking already. But listen to this, cremation and funeral services can cut the cost of funeral services by 90%. A report from the Cremation Society and an area cremation service of the City of Oaks Cremation in Raleigh gave a quote of less than $1,200 for the removal of the body with a hardwood oak urn and sales tax and everything. Most funeral services, as we know, range between $8,000 and $10,000 for a casket, embalming, visitation, and miscellaneous items. This does not include cemetery charges, which range between $1,000 and $3,000. This cremation data here, as you can see, although it's not the most recent, you can tell that in 1985 it was 10%. In 2007 it was up to 34%. Now it's up to 44%. And as you'll see, it's projected to go to 65% by 2025. The word cremation generally frightens people. The thought of burning your loved one. The human body is nothing but a shell. It's a spirit, soul, contained, rested in body. And body was made from dirt, and to dirt it will return, Genesis 3. Funeral trends in the U.S. are showing that cremation is growing. There's one factor that funeral homes don't want you to know. Again, you may decide to have a memorial service at your local church. With a traditional funeral service, the body is embalmed with chemicals. Chemicals enter the earth and prevent natural decomposition. I hope this has helped you in some ways. The industry as a whole is not dishonest. They do have costs that do not appear on the surface, as we all know. I know for a fact that you can buy a $500 casket and it retails for $5,000. I think this is shocking to you, and I know it's shocking to most people. And I know they have a large overhead, but not that extreme. Contact your local cremation service and investigate. You'll see that the data is correct. Cremation is a respectable and least expensive way of having a dignified service for your life with dignity, and thank you very much.
Okay, that was 7 minutes.